welcome back. You're watching My Savage Homestead. I am today, it's cold outside, it's 32 degrees. I don't have anything I have to do in my garden. So this video is just going to be about dinner. So we're going to make a picadillo con papa, which is basically a Mexican dish with hamburger, tomatoes, potatoes, and a lot of other ingredients to put in there. Very tasty. So this is what we're having for dinner tonight. So follow along with me and we're going to make picadillo con papa. So for this meal, you're going to need to have canola oil or vegetable oil, it's up to you, cumin, garlic powder, Mexican oregano and salt and pepper, minced garlic, 1 yellow or white onion, and 1 medium russet potato. And you're going to need a pound of hamburger. So I'm going to tell you what you're going to need for this recipe. You're going to need 1 pound of hamburger. You're going to need 1 medium russet potato. You're going to peel it and cut it into cubes. You're going to need 1 onion. It can be yellow or white if you like. You're going to need 2 Roma tomatoes diced, but I don't have Roma tomatoes, but I do have Roma tomatoes in my jar that I had canned. So since we're going to make a sauce with the tomatoes, it's okay if it's already pre-canned. And then we're going to use some of those. You need 2 serrano peppers. I don't have fresh serrano peppers right now, but I do have my serrano sauce that I showed you a video back in, I think, late July on how to make serrano sauce. So we're going to use some of that in place of my whole serranos today. But in the recipe, at the end, I am going to list everything whole, like your fresh tomatoes and your fresh serranos. Then you're going to need cumin. You're going to need Mexican oregano. You're going to need garlic powder. You're going to need a tablespoon of minced garlic, salt and pepper. You're going to need oil. You're going to need some water. And that's all you're going to need for this ingredients. It's very quick, very simple, and we're going to go step by step on what you need to do to put this dish together. So okay, let's go ahead and get started and get the potato peeled. So basically you're going to peel a medium russet potato and you're going to chop it up into squares. You're going to make it the size of probably of a dice cube. Anything bigger than that, it won't cook through with the recipe here. You need to have it about the size of a dice or smaller. So what you're going to do is you're going to heat up your pan on medium to low, and you're going to add your 2 tablespoons of oil to the pan. And then you're going to go ahead and drop in your cubed potatoes. And you're going to lightly salt and pepper these. It's not the amount of salt and pepper that I gave you in the initial ingredients. This is just to season your potatoes as they're being cooked. And you're going to fry these up on medium to low until they're almost thoroughly cooked. And at this point, you're going to remove the potatoes from the pan. And you're going to set these off to the side. Okay, in the same pan, you're going to place your 1 pound of hamburger in there. And you're just going to make it into fine, small pieces. And then you're going to add, once it's thoroughly cooked, you're going to add your cumin in there. You're going to add your garlic powder. And then you're just going to drop in your salt and your pepper. And you're going to stir that up in the hamburger. Okay, now that you've got your spices blended in with your hamburger meat, you're going to add your onions. And you're going to add your garlic to the mix. And you're going to cook this on medium to low for about 3 minutes. Okay, here comes your multitasking. While you got your onions and garlic cooking in the hamburger meat on the stove for 3 minutes, you're going to put your 2 whole serranos in a food processor or blender, whatever one you have. And then you're going to put your diced tomatoes in. Now remember, I didn't have whole fresh tomatoes, so I have mine in a can, which works just as well. So you're going to dice up those 2 Roma tomatoes and you're going to put them in your food processor or blender. You're going to add in your Mexican oregano. And this is a blend that I make myself. And then 1/4 cup of the water. And you're going to just puree this. Okay, now that you've got your sauce made, you're going to reintroduce your potatoes back to the pan. And then you're going to add your sauce on top of that. Now you're going to blend this together. And you're going to cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the temperature of your stove. I have a gas stove, so it gets really high, so I have to put mine on low. And then you're going to cook that until the potatoes are now fork tender, and then you're ready to serve. Okay, so you're going to have 1 large chicken breast, and you're going to slice it, or you can put it into cubes, it's your choice. So you're going to need a pat of butter. You're going to add your chicken slices to the butter, and you're going to sear this on both sides. You're going to caramelize it on both sides, but you're not going to cook it all the way through. So then we're just going to add some salt and pepper to the dish. And you're going to do this on both sides. You're going to season your chicken on both sides. So now that you've browned it on one side, you're going to flip it over. And then you're going to brown the other side. And then again, you're going to add some more salt and pepper. And then on the side, you're going to get some water boiling, and you're going to put in 4 servings of pasta. Spaghetti is probably your best bet for this. You can cook that all the way through, and while the pasta is cooking, you're going to need 4 ounces of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then you're going to need 1 cup each of cheddar and mozzarella cheese. Now that the pasta is cooked, you're going to add 1/4 cup of Italian dressing. And then you're going to add 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And I do have a recipe on the 8 seasonings video that you can make your Italian seasoning with. Make it yourself. And then you're going to add your cheeses into it. And make sure that you leave about 1/4 of the cheese out, because you're going to put that on top of your chicken casserole dish 5 minutes before it pops out of the oven. Then you're going to add your 1/4 of Parmesan cheese. Now you're going to stir that up. You're going to need the heat of the stove to melt that cheese, so you're going to leave that on the stove until it's thoroughly mixed. And in a casserole dish, you can have it buttered or sprayed with Pam. And then you're going to put your pasta, already pre-cooked pasta, in there. And then you're going to layer that pasta with some chicken. Now you're going to bake this at 350 for about 25 minutes. And remember, the last 5 minutes, you top it with the remaining cheese you left to the side. And there you have it. An easy, quick, cheesy chicken pasta dish. Here you go, guys. Picadillo con papa. All it is hamburgers and potato. That's all that it means. It's in seasonings and some sauces, some hot sauces. So it was very simple to make, very quick to make, and it's very delicious. So follow along for more recipes from me, and I hope to see you on the next video. But please help me grow my channel and like and subscribe. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.